Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this guest speaker session on design thinking, hosted by the members of Pichavaram House at IIT Madras. This session is a part of Aranya 2.0, the best of the house. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to today's session featuring a distinguished speaker, Mr. Sukraat Dang. Mr. Sukraat brings a wealth of experience in design thinking, academia, hospitality, startups, and marketing. He currently serves as a course instructor for the BDM and design thinking courses in the BS degree program and NPTEL at IIT Madras. Mr. Sukrath is not only a seasoned professional, but also someone who finds joy in the finer aspects of life, including the art of marketing and well crafted product designs. Beyond his impressive professional background, Mr. Sukrath is a fervent advocate for cultivating empathy in society. His passion for this noble cause is bound to inspire each of us to reflect on the impact of design thinking in fostering understanding and connection. Today, we have the privilege of diving into the world of design thinking with Mr. Sukrat as he shares his insights and experiences. So, without further ado, let's warmly welcome him and embark on this journey of innovation. Please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Aditya. You spoke very highly of me, inspired a lot from what I've written about myself on LinkedIn. So I duly acknowledge that. Okay. Thank you so much, guys. And I hope the next half an hour or 1 hour would be fun for you. As I said before, also, please contribute. I will be pausing at a lot of places and expecting you to fill in to either write the comments or unmute your mic. Okay, and take it light. It's okay. It's a very chill thing that we're going to study about. Okay,
Yeah,
so
and just one more thing before we start. For the participants, guys, if you have any doubts, make sure to post them in the chat or the Q&A tab that I'm enabling now. So if you have questions, make sure to post them there, and yeah, we'll try to answer most of them and all of them at the end of the session. So yeah, thank you.
okay, cool. So I'm starting my presentation now. Okay. So we're going to talk about design thinking and how awesome it is. So before we start, and also just a small note before I start, I cannot actively keep looking at the Meet window. So if there is anything pressing, just one of you please unmute and I'll pause and have a look there. Okay. So design thinking we're going to talk about. I've been dealing with design thinking for the past 2.5 years now. Plus, subconsciously, we all have been experiencing design thinking throughout our life because pretty much all products that we use have a bit of, a hint of design thinking in them. That is why it is somewhat solving our problem. I've given you a hint now amongst the 30-40 people who have joined. Without Googling, without cheating, does anybody want to define what design thinking is, or just an idea of what exactly it can be? Anybody? Without cheating, just an idea. Do you think design? How do you think design?
So I guess design will help you to experience and appease more of the audience,
Okay,
like how
cool.
it looks to you, how it eye catch you.
Okay. Anybody else? Thanks, Jasmeet.
How you can like present the things like ppts and all appealing to the audience.
Okay. Anybody else? So, okay, if nobody else is taking up, I'll just go ahead and try and somebody wrote, understanding your target audience. Gurneet, yes, that is one part of design thinking. And as you guys said that, how things should look better and how we can present them better. The aesthetical aspect of it is something that we do not lean too much into in design thinking, but it's part of the first word, that is design. So design in itself is not contributing completely to the aesthetics bit of it, but how a thing is made, how a thing is supposed to function as a product or as a service. Right now, yeah, what Kamakshi said, identifying a problem and solving it through design. Now, not specifically design is something that design is not a solution, but it is an approach. So, giving you a context of what design thinking is. Now, design thinking is the way designers work. Okay, so it has the school of design thinking. The thought of design thinking has been derived from the years and years of designers working as on problems, on specific products, on specific services, and academicians, specifically IDEO and organization, went ahead and really broke it down, made it official. Stanford gave it more, theory and literature added to it, and eventually the subject evolved, and now we generally accept design thinking as a whole different subject altogether. So, what exactly is design thinking? I'll show you a definition of it. Maybe it'll help you understand. So this is a definition. Okay, so this is the core of its definition, the most complicated version it can be. I'll read it out for you. Design thinking at its core is an iterative and non-linear cognitive process, one that encapsulates a series of interconnected complex stages aimed at addressing and solving multifaceted problems through a human-centric lens. It's an amalgamation of empathetic understanding, creative ideation, and rational problem solving. A lot of you who understand English very nicely would have understood what design thinking is, but in the simplest words, it's not put in the simplest words. It's a very complicated, sort of a definition what we have on screen right now. So I have a reference of a Three Idiots reference here, where once where they're talking about the zip thing being a machine or not, and followed by the book example. So let's take it from that lens and try to simplify the process. So design thinking generally would be, you have a problem or you have a person. Okay, you have a specific person or an organization, and for various reasons they are suffering through a specific problem. Okay, we don't know what the problem is, but as design thinkers or as designers, what we're supposed to do is we have to approach that problem as a user, or make them your customer, understand them. So there are various stages of design thinking. The first is understanding them, or the empathy phase. So in empathy phase, what we're trying to do is, as I can point it out here also, just one second. So yeah, which aims at amalgamation of it's an amalgamation of empathetic understanding. Now, what exactly is empathetic understanding? What can you understand by the word empathy? Anybody in the crowd? Empathy. What do you mean by empathy? Any takers on that? You can write it down also.
Being able to understand what someone else is going through.
Perfect. Anything else? Some find feelings on someone's POV. Very good. Wearing someone else's shoes. Tum kya tutul putul? I don't
or
know.
experiencing emotions from others' perspective.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So, okay, imagine this, that you have a stomach ache. Okay, and you are grumbling on the ground because you have a terrible stomach ache. Maybe it's gas, maybe somebody punched you, maybe you had something off. It can be constipation of sorts, something. And you go to a doctor and you say, sir, I'm in a lot of pain. And the doctor, instead of understanding what sort of a pain it is, he just gives you a normal pain reliever. Now, what the doctor did not do is understand where the problem lied, what the problem was, where you are exactly suffering. Whereas what a good doctor would do, he'll sit you down, he'll touch you in, like, the pain points of your stomach, ask what exactly is up, have you eaten anything odd recently, if there is anything wrong. So in doctoral terms, in medical terms, what he's doing is that he is diagnosing what the problem is. And when we try to diagnose the problem of somebody else in a non-medical zone, and really understand what exactly their problem is, what their situation is, where they come from, things like that, is what is called empathy. Now, if we show empathy to somebody, meaning we are being open to the way they are feeling, we are opening our minds and heads to a zone where we are actually understanding what the other person is going through. So all these points, wearing somebody else's shoe, feelings on someone's POV, all of them are correct. This is a basic crux of what empathy is. Now, next thing is creative ideation and rational problem solving. Now we know that there is a problem, okay, but what exactly are we going to do about it? So let's go back to that example of you having a stomachache, right? So now you go to a better doctor, he touches on your stomach, and he realizes that you have gastritis, or you have gas in your stomach, right? So he'll probably give you a medicine which will relieve gas, which will also not dehydrate you, things like that. So there are specific medicines that he will give for a specific problem. But in a general broader aspect, not everybody is suffering from just a stomach ache, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to look into what exactly we're going to look into what exactly their problem is, and what sort of solutions can we come up with. So it's not going to be limited to a specific a specific solution that we're going to look into. We are going to ideate a lot, we're going to brainstorm a lot, we're going to maybe list down 100 ideas, and then sift out the good ones, the practical ones, the ones that are viable enough for us to do. So that is what exactly design thinking, solution or ideation in design thinking is. And once we have a final product, or once we have a final solution, then we have to run it again through the customers to understand how we have made the product, to gain their feedback, to understand what exactly they have done, or what exactly we have done right and what not. If they don't like it, then we go back, we make another solution, we make another iteration, we make another change. And this is like a non-iterative, non-linear process, an iterative, non-linear process of just us understanding what the problem is, us trying to solve the problem, us giving us the solutions, and us getting the feedback on that solution. Now, complicated. I think I complicated my explanation way more than what is on the slide. Okay, so just a quick show of hands. I need to understand how many people have seen this movie, like Stars or Not. Just raise your hands. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a thumbs up. 15, 6. Wow, there's like a lot of raised hands. 20 something raised hands. So we get the fact that you've watched Tare Zameen Par. Okay, now in my experience, Tare Zameen Par as a movie best describes what the design thinking phase is going to be, or how it has been applied. Okay, now let's go ahead with that. Anybody giving anybody any thoughts or questions so far, or any guesses on what Tare Zameen Par did as a design thinking thing, how that concept was applied all throughout the movie? Any takers so far before I move on to the next slide? If not, I can go ahead, it's okay. Empathizing with dyslexic child. Okay, perfect. Zubra, didn't you have like another class to go to? He's bunking here. Okay. So pedagogy.
Poetry, like nurturing the unique talents.
Okay. Okay. So no, what I expect you to understand is that, okay, imagine Darshil Safari or Ishan Awasthi as in Tare Zameen Par as the customer here, and uh, the spiky guy, Amir Khan, being the the design thinker, the actual person who's helping him out. So that he is the person who's going to help and apply design thinking on the Shield Safari as a customer. Okay, I have a couple of comments here. Identifying pedagogical, this is better. Identify interest. Ignoring what is important. No, we don't ignore what is important. Okay, so let's move ahead with that. So here let's go stage by stage on what is exactly happening here. So when the movie starts, we all see that that the Shield Safari is this super imaginative guy, but is struggling a lot. Okay, he daydreams, he is not excelling in the he's not excelling in the school, his parents are not happy with him, he is in a constant competition against his own brother. The people in his street don't treat him nicely, he doesn't have any friends because he's a little weird. So all of that is an amalgamation of all the problems that this guy had. Okay, and in this gif also we see that he's just he's getting late for school, and he's just avoiding breakfast and just thinking. He's in his own world. Not that it's wrong to be in his own world, but it is something that is not acceptable by the mother. It's something that is not acceptable by the school. Okay, so as a character or as a user, we understand that this guy has this many problems. Okay, so things lead one to another. Something happens. The parents get super pissed, and eventually he goes to a boarding school. Now, when he goes to the boarding school, we realize that there is Amir Khan waiting for him, and he looks into that boy as as a problem case. And a lot of teachers raised a lot of problems against that child, but as an empathetic teacher or as an empathetic human, he came ahead and he started looking into Ishan's problems as a as something that he wants to solve, or something that he could understand and probably help with. So this is where the analysis bit comes in, where a design thinker is sitting down with its client or looking at the client from a distance, from what we call lizard on the wall approach. Okay, you look at the client, or you look at the customer, or you look at the user. What exactly is their problems? How is their day going? What is this user interested in? What is good for him? What is not going good for him? And just sit down and write those things down, or maybe have a note for it, that this is something that the student is having troubles in, but there is an alternate way to solve that problem. So first, in empathize and analysis, the empathize and analyze stage, this is something that we have to do. We have to understand what the problem is, and then list down the problems, and probably phrase it in a way that this is the problem, this is how we should solve this. So there are different approaches to it. So to drill down problems, we have a multi-why approach. Let's apply that to Ishan's case. Okay, he doesn't do good in academics. Why doesn't he do good in academics? Because he doesn't understand anything that is being said. Why doesn't he understand anything that is being said or written? Because the words are all jumbled up in his head. Why? So this is like a stepwise why. We keep on asking why to a problem, to drill down to a problem, or to drill down to one statement which will define us our problem. So if we eliminate his dyslexia altogether, okay, if we eliminate the fact that he is not okay with words, maybe we'll have a solution. And that is exactly something that Amir Khan does in this movie, is that if he's having trouble with words or understanding or expressing words in a written format, maybe there is another way for him to let his creativity out. Okay, so in one of the very nice songs, hey, that song, they at the end of the thing, they talk about doing something. Okay, doing something creative and innovative. Now what is Amir Khan doing in that aspect is that he's giving a space, or he's enabling the space for Ishan Avasthi and the other students also to be a little creative in a non-textual format. Away from the books, they go to a lake, they make something. He makes an entire functional boat, which is kind of a big deal, right? And there are ways in which we understand that, okay, another approach when taken with Ishan or with a specific student or anybody who is suffering from dyslexia can probably bring out the better version of them. Okay, so this is something that hit me, or stuck well with me in this movie, that there is always another solution, there is always another approach to any sort of a problem. It's just upon the design thinker, or you as somebody who's trying to help somebody, to really think and innovate, and be calm enough to implement it, to test it out with the user and see whether they're responding well, or well to it or not. So in the solve phase, what we see, or another side point that I want to put here, is that when you Google design thinking, you will find 5 or 6 stages to it. So what we have as EAST, that is East, that is our acronym that I've learned from my Professor Bala. They have a different set of stages. So there is empathize, analyze, iterate, prototype, and test. So what we've done is we have merged iterate and prototype into solve. So in iteration phase, we are thinking of all sorts of solutions that we can come up with. We are looking at the conflicts that can possibly be in a given solution, whether it is helping out the customer in his own problem or not, things like that. So here in this movie, coming back to this movie, what they do is that Amir Khan lets them be free, lets them be creative, and he sees that there is a very good response from Ishan as a student or as a customer, because he gets down to the lake, he makes that entire boat by himself, and good things happen, good things follow. Now to implement this, okay, now the test phase that is coming is where we're going to try and implement, or whatever prototype we've made, we're going to run it through the end user. Now end user being Ishan in this case. And what is the thing that we're going to do? So our suggested solution was to let him be creative. How are we going to implement it? Let's have a painting competition. When he paints, he excels. He has the cover on, he makes a painting so good that it goes on the school magazine that year, things like that. So this is what happens when you create a good solution and test it with your user, and when the user resonates with it, it's a success of your product. So that is something that encapsulates the entire stages of design thinking. Anybody so far, any question? I will look into the chat also.
Yeah, there is a question in the Q&A. So would you like to take it now, or at the end
Sure,
of the
yeah,
session?
go ahead. Let me look.
So yeah. Athi wants to ask that he wants to know where to start designing. I know that designing is completely different than editing, but where should one start? Name some user and beginner-friendly software that might let us go into it.
Okay, sure. So, Aarti, let me elaborate on. I want to know your question in a little more detail. So, when you say designing, what is it that you're designing? I want to know. Because if you're making maybe a software, okay, then there are various UI softwares that you can work upon. If you're making an app, then there are different UI UX prototypes that you can make compatible to the phone, compatible to the laptop, things like that. Or if you want to prototype, you can prototype with a simple pen and paper. You can use cardboard, you can use thermocol, tape, ropes, anything that you want. So it really depends on what exactly is the product that you're making. If it's a service, if it is a hardware, if it is an app, things like that. Virendra Jan, we will get to me. You can search my name Sukraat Dang on LinkedIn, or you can use my correct spelling. This is the correct spelling at study.itm.ac.in. You can mail me there, Virendra. Aarti, coming back on your question, so you have, if you're trying to solve a problem and you have a specific solution in your mind, where to start is exactly dependent on what your product is. So, say for example, I had a case in which we were trying to help out the customers who were driving on a scooter. Okay. Now, I, as a person, also drive on the. I have a scooty. I have a Yamaha Fasino. Okay, and I was new to Chennai, and when I was in the campus, and one thing that I had a constant problem with was to constantly look at my phone on Google Maps while driving. Okay, so I had this severe issue that every time I had to take it out, it was inconvenient. I have a bulky phone with like everything attached to it, so it's not convenient for me to hold it and use it very readily on the road. So I acted as a customer. I also acted as somebody who contributes towards the solution, and in the end we came up with a bell size watch, not a smartwatch, but like just a thing that can be put on the handle or the mirror of the thing, and it gives a small notification for the turns that need to be made. So to start off, the prototype that we made was just a simple presentation. Okay, we made a circle, and then inside we inserted an API for Google Maps, then we connected it to our phones. That was something that we did. Okay, but in the end, right now at the stage that it is at, after a lot of iterations, that I think there are like 10-15 rounds of iterations that we've done, now it is something that is a mountable device on a scooty, and you can just put in your location from your phone, and it will reflect on the scooter's attached thing, and it will show you the exact directions when you want to turn. If you don't have earphones, it's fine, because it will show you that exactly in 50 meters you have to turn. Sometimes what happens with Google Maps is that I have my earphones on to tell me with the thing, to turn left in 500 meters, but I can't keep a track on the speedometer how many times, like, what time it hits 500 meters, so I have to turn. It's a slightly impractical. So to tackle all of those things, we made that mountable thing. Yeah. Yeah, those things, that is something that we did as a solution. To start with, start absolutely simple, start absolutely basic. That's never an issue. Aditya, if there are questions following this, let me know. Okay. Thank you, Ati.
Yes, sir, sure.
Okay. Now, these are the four stages of design thinking, the way I approach it and the way a couple of other people approach it. That is empathize, analyze, solve, and test. Now, for the funnest part is the part where we take the feedback from people. Okay. I call it fun because that shows where exactly your product, where exactly the entire effort that you've been putting for days, months, weeks has landed you. Okay. So in this case, the feedback was A1. Okay, so this is something that we wanted. I mean, the thing showed, the movie showed that he was happy with the end product. They had hugs and stuff. So this was a successful implementation of design thinking as a concept on a user from another person altogether. Now, there are organizations which apply design thinking to a lot of things. Okay, so we're going to talk about them. But so far, I'm going to move on to my next slide. If there are questions at this point, let me know. If not, I'm going to go ahead. Okay. Anyone? All right, no questions. So the first thing that we're going to do is apply design thinking. Okay. So we have any guesses on who this person on screen is right now? Any guesses?
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran. Okay. Any song that you might like of him?
Shape of You.
Any better song? Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Perfect. So, Perfect is a very good song. A Team is a very good song. Various different songs. Okay. I don't like Shape of You for some reason, but yeah, good identification of the thing. So, what we're going to do in this session is we're going to take Ed Sheeran as a user, okay, as the first user, and we're going to drill down what he is as a person. Okay, so what we're going to do in this case is we're going to make a user persona, and for Ed Sheeran is just an example. While approaching design thinking, the first thing and the primary thing that you have to take care of is the end user. Okay, if the end user, you really drill down and understand who he is, what he does, what's good with him, what's wrong with him, what are his problems, you will be able to probably do justice to the solution that you're going to propose. And before we go ahead with that, I am going to send you a link that is, I think it's a Jamboard link. Yeah. So on the Jamboard, this we will jump to at the end of the session, but for your reference, this is a Jamboard. Okay, write your problems there. Everybody has access to edit. Okay, just write whatever problems you have in your life, not something that is beyond my because that's offensive for me, man. Why will they talk about the shape of me? Okay, so just write your problems, okay, and we will try and see how we're going to approach them. Okay, so use that Jamboard. If anybody has any problem accessing that Jamboard, let me know. So now we're going to move on to really knowing who Ed Sheeran is as a person. Okay, so his name here we see is Ed Sheeran. His physical attributes are he is in an age group of 25 to 40, and his height is 173 centimeters. His personality, what does he do? He's a creative person. He's also very introspective, and he is down to earth. You can talk to him. He's fun. He's friendly. Passionate about music and storytelling. We can see that in his work. All the songs that he's written, all the collaborations that he's done. He's come in like a couple of movies also. There was yesterday the Beatles movie in which he was there. So he's been there, he's been out and about, and he likes a lot of things. And he likes privacy, he likes his own time. There are things to him that he wants to keep to himself, things like that. What does he like? As we can see clearly in the photo, he really likes tomato ketchup, he really likes cats, he really likes music, quite apparently because he is a musician. He really likes basketball. I've seen him sit courtside on NBA games, so he really likes basketballs. And he really likes Legos. He also has a song called Lego House, beautiful song, much better than Shape of You or Perfect. You can quote me on that. So there are different things that he likes. Now let's drill down as a personality trait what exactly would be his suggested problems. And I've been told that I have to include the aspect of AI in this. So let me just full disclosure, I have listed his problems, a list of problems. I told ChatGPT to give me a list of problems that Ed Sheeran might have, and this is the list of problems that came up. So maintaining privacy, we discussed here that he values privacy, so maintaining that is a big problem. Managing a hectic schedule, he's a world class, world renowned artist, so of course he has a hectic schedule, doesn't really get to have a lot of space for himself. Creative burnout, of course, he's ideating constantly, he's thinking about something constantly, somebody's shape, somebody's lyric. Okay, so he's supposed to, like, he is bound to hit a creative burnout thing. Balancing career and personal life, again, things something like that. Staying relevant in a changing industry. Now everybody is a mumble rapper, everybody is doing something else. There are new people coming up, 7 billion people, somebody will replace him. Constant pressure of that. Okay, health and wellness, of course, when you're dealing with so much stress, so much movement around, weird eating hours, things like that. So of course health and wellness also comes into play. And the challenges that he has with production, whether it is something to do with video production, something to do with audio productions, any other thing. Maybe sometimes his clothes are not okay, to not presentable enough, something like that. So he has technical challenges there also. He has troubles with luggage because he's traveling so much. He has his 4 named guitars, he has his pets, other things, his own baggage. So there is a trouble with carrying around luggage. And because he's such an avid fan of ketchup, he also has a tattoo here of ketchup on his arm. While dispensing it, he has that problem that he spills shit. He spills something on the thing. Now, why did we talk about all of this is because this is just a superficial view of what Ed Sheeran might be like. Okay, I haven't seen him in person, I haven't talked to him, I haven't really understood what his problems are. And this, so far, I mean, if I just raise if I go come back to the screen, and you have this entire set of problems. Okay, there, how many people here are in the age group of 25 to 40? Just a raise of hands, quick raise of hands. One, two, three people, 4 people. Okay, how many people are maybe 5'8" or 5'9" in height? One. Ati is tall. Okay. How many people like tomato ketchup, cats, music, Lego? Anybody? Anything? Just me, the 6 feet. Congrats, man. So there are a lot of things that a lot of people who like tomato ketchup, cats, music, basketball, things like that. And along with a big no for ketchup. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I had to give a trigger warning. This slide contains a lot of ketchup. Okay, so people who absolutely hate or gag about from the sight or the smell of ketchup or the taste of ketchup, please look away, please log out, it's not meant for you. Okay, so bro, I'm 5, that's 6, no. Anyway, so yeah, there is going to be a lot of catch up. Okay, and problems. Now there are important problems here, like maintaining privacy, maintaining managing a hectic schedule, creative burnout, things like that. All of them super serious, super serious. Okay, problems. So what am I saying from this is that this is a very generic set of problems. To understand a problem better, we have to actually go to the user, or at least talk to the user, see him, not from a bird's eye view but from a personal level, and really understand what exactly he's suffering with. Okay, So that, and then is when we can, start working towards a solution, or at least ideating towards a solution. Because at this point he looks a lot like me. I have pretty much the same problems. 25 to 46, 5 feet 8 9 inches, all of these problems come down to me also. That's a really old photo. I've grown fat now, but it's fine. So this is the only photo I could find with me eating food. So anyway, the point is that as a customer, you can't really generalize things about him if you're trying to really help him out as a problem. So what you need to do is really introspect, really look down on, look into the customer's problems, look into what his day-to-day activities are, where his actual pain points are, what he's doing, whether he's happy or not doing that, what is the entire customer journey of this specific customer. Okay, so going ahead, any problems so far? Any comments? Any problems so far? Prioritize different works, meaning?
Sir, I would like to know, like, I also face this problem, creative burnout and managing on a hectic
Yeah,
schedule. So, like,
yeah.
what should we do to, like, don't have this problem anymore?
Set boundaries.
But it's
It's
getting difficult to set boundaries.
okay. We'll discuss with this We'll deal with this problem. Okay, we'll apply like design thinking on your specific schedule or on
Thank
your
you so much,
specific
sir.
problem after this. Okay, so if you guys are liking this session, invite other BS students. Another session for this specifically. Thank you, guys. Everything is difficult. Okay, so and anybody else? Anybody? Any comments? Any questions? Anybody? Anything else? There was one question I didn't really get it in the question section. I don't see the question section anymore. So Aditya, if there is a question, let me know. Okay. So if there is nothing,
Yes.
we're going to come back to understanding what the user's problem is. So right now we have a whole list of problems. Okay, maintaining privacy, managing a hectic schedule, creative burnout. Jasmeet is also having the same problem. Okay, balancing career, life problem, important things. Okay, all important things. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick one of these problems. Okay, and we'll probably pick the most important one out there. Okay, like I think it must be relatable to a lot of people. That is ketchup. Okay, so there is going to be, we're going to talk about what happens with with this ketchup problem. Okay, it's super important. I care a lot about it, so let's talk about ketchup. Now when we think of ketchup, okay, and sorry for everybody who is trying to not gag right now. uh, Sorry if you don't like ketchup. I really like ketchup. Okay, so you can go ahead and turn off the thing, but we're going to talk about how ketchup used design thinking and improved upon its own design. So when we talk about ketchup, okay, let's talk on an international scale. The first brand, or the first thing that comes to the first product that comes to our mind is Heinz ketchup. Okay, and if we see here, sorry, let me come back. If we see here, he is also using a Heinz bottle. Okay, it's a glass bottle that I can see. He's been using a this glass bottle of Heinz, that is right there. So of course he has specific problems using it, and it's something that we're going to apply design thinking to, and something that Heinz as a company also applied the design thinking to. So what we saw, that the problem that they identified was that there was a problem in squeezing out ketchup in a regulated, measured manner. Okay, so what they did, they saw people struggling. They saw people keeping ketchup as as an inverted bottle in their fridge. Somebody added water, shook it, took out whatever liquid, weird state, diluted state of ketchup there was, because they just could not deal with the dispense of ketchup. And I think the brand started somewhere in 19 sorry 8, it's really old brand, I think. And it took them years and years of understanding what exactly the problem with their ketchup bottle was, because their consistency is to die for. It's a really good, nice quality of ketchup, but how do we dispense it properly? So They iterated, they saw people use it, they made other prototypes of bottles, they put the same consistency ketchup, they made a lot of changes inside the bottles itself, and in the end they finally came up with a product. And this is where the designing of the product comes in, is that they made this thing. This inverted bottle is a plastic bottle which is squeezable. It has a cap. You uncap the cap, squeeze it, close it, and it's the end. It may make a weird sound, but at least your ketchup is not getting splattered, your ketchup is not getting wasted. Okay? Any questions so far?
Yeah, there is one question from a person who calls himself Mathematics Supernova.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. His question is, how can we deal with the situation efficiently when everything is opposite, and how can we work with proficiency to achieve the goal?
Okay. Supernova, what we're dealing with right now is something that you call a conflict of interest in a situation. Okay. So you want a specific some solution, but there are a lot of opposing factors to it. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to see as to what is the commonality between your solution and what the expected problem solution is. What are the factors that really affect the stakeholders in the situation, and somehow come to a common conclusion, or a more, a minimum viable product or a minimum viable solution. That is what we're going to do. I understand I'm throwing a lot of terms right now which you might need to read into a little later, but this is something that is highly important for you to understand, that there is a whole spectrum of conflicts that will come when you are trying to make any sort of solution, or when you're trying to apply design thinking. Now, in your specific question, there are conflicts as of the nature of the problem itself, and as you as a end user or a solution maker. Okay, so you have to sit down, understand, and really drill down what the problem is. If you find the root of that problem and have a solution to eliminate the root of the problem itself, maybe there you will have your answer. Or you drill down the problem to a point where you can actually help it. Okay, that is where you'll identify that, oh, okay, this is something that I can work with, this is something that is not going against my wishes or my capabilities, and this is the space that I'm going to operate in and try and solve that problem. Okay, so I understand it's a slightly vague answer, but if you have any more specific question to ask me, please unmute and ask. Okay.
Sir, I have one question about this ketchup problem actually.
Yeah, ask Shatrupal.
In this solution, the company has shifted to like they've removed the glass bottles, but
Yeah.
we know that glass bottles help in longevitizing the expiry date and preventing the odor and everything. So that
Not
might not be
really.
a problem for restaurants because there the stock gets exhausted very quickly. But
Yeah.
suppose we are keeping the bottles in home,
Hmm.
would that be a problem?
So no, Heinz, when they were solving the problem, they had a couple of issues to address. One thing was ketchup getting a little destabilized because of the nature of the packing. So what they've done is they've used food grade plastic, which is, I think, some specific microns. I'm not sure of what the micron weightage is for this specific bottle. And another thing that they were trying to solve is the sustainability issue, because it's all plastic now instead of a metal cap and a glass bottle. They introduced a 100% recyclable cap also. So these were the two things that they mostly addressed. As far as the homogeneity or the quality of the ketchup going bad was concerned, I think there are stabilizer doing that work. So within the ketchup itself, there are preservatives, there are other things that will keep the consistency and the quality of the ketchup. I think that is a problem that they addressed way quickly, way early in the process, and that is where all the stabilizers, all the preservatives came into place. So I don't think it's a glass bottle problem specifically. Although with the glass bottle, still the pouring thing is still a problem. So that is
Uh,
something that they want to tackle. Yeah,
by the way, I think like replacing glass with plastic may help them to recover from breakage and all.
brokerage. Yeah, exactly. So when I was running the restaurant, when they poured ketchup, they used to slam it against the table. Okay, and sometimes the glass would break, or something. Breakage definitely is a thing. So that is also something that they tried to improve on as against in a model. Okay. So we have less time, and I have a lot of content, so I'll go ahead. So anybody else? So just 1 more minute we're going to spend on this slide. Similar to this solution, okay? Anybody else who can come up with more examples of such products or such designs or products that have been either changed or introduced in the world to solve a specific problem? Anybody? Any example where you think design thinking has been applied as a concept, as something that is it was vital to be applied? Any example? If not, no example, then we can move on. It's fine. Yes, no. Hmm?
There is come up with a packet sauce.
What come up with the packet sauce?
Our design is a packet sauce. Like there is a packet of a sauce which can be folded and squeezed into minimum.
The Pichku pouch, the small one, Maggie Pichku.
Yes, like that. There's a big one also, like there's a Patanjali one, that big one ones.
Okay, the 1.1 liter big one.
Yes, yes,
Got it,
exactly.
got it, got it. So yeah, equally nice, very nice. I
I
know a
guess
lot
like
about
this, sir.
this.
You are talking about.
This is the Viva
Yes, yes,
peonies. Yes, correct. So
yes,
Kisan
exactly.
has this one 1.1 liter or 500 ml. You pour it, you squeeze it, but then again, you can't see the ketchup inside it because it's a metal sheet outside. You don't know
Yes,
how much ketchup is left or how much you need to squeeze it. So how Heinz is doing it is that they have a transparent bottle, so you can see how much dilution you need to do. Okay. So, okay, moving ahead, you did not really give me another product. We stuck on ketchup, but that's fine. So, these are some things that we are, dealing with.
Sir, actually, I think you made everyone here a ketchup fanatic.
Uh, maybe. I am so sorry if I changed your taste buds. But yeah, so let's talk about what's on the slide right now. So empathy, we talked about the ketchup thing. Somebody in the comments wrote iPhone. So iPhone, I'll get to it. First, let me touch the analyze phase. So if we go back to the Ed Sheeran slide. So he had a lot of problem traveling with his entire luggage, right? Because the luggage is heavy, and if somebody is old enough as me, they would remember, suitcases without a tire. So somebody somewhere in the world who was making suitcases realized that this is a problem that needs to be solved. They analyzed the problem, looked into how it can be minimized, that the carrying of weight or the burden of weight can be minimized, and they introduced wheels under a suitcase. Now we have a whole bunch of mokoboras and VIPs and other things coming into place. So that is where another solution in the form of tires came in. Wheel as itself is a big solution to a lot of problems in the human history, specifically in luggage. The strolling suitcase was another thing that they analyzed on, drilled down on the pain points, and came up with a product. The conflict that they discovered in this was, thing is heavy, thing has to be lifted, but thing has to be taken from one place to the other also, and with less effort. How do they amalgamate all of it? Put tires under the suitcase. Solve. Now this is one thing that I would is one of my favorite companies, one of the favorite products that they've made, is an iPhone. I understand there are a lot of debates between an Android and an iPhone, how it is better, something. There is a whole debate of that. I myself am an Android user, so it's fine. But the thing is that they came up with a product which we did not even know we required. So big W, sir. Okay. So what I'm trying to say with that is that there is a quote by Henry Ford. Okay, Henry Ford is the person who introduced the Ford cars into the world. So he wrote that. I mean, if you ask people what they want to travel faster, they'd say more horses or stronger horses, right? But what they don't really require is that they need an automobile, or a car that is something that they need. So you really have to understand what the problem is of the user, because they themselves won't come up with solutions or innovation. What you need to do is you give them solutions and make them understand that this is something that was missing from your life. Okay. So that is where a smartphone came into place. So far we had everything, we knew everything, things were okay without Without a smartphone, things were okay. On a landline, things were okay. In letters and shipping was okay. We went to Blockbuster, we went to cinema halls, but then came a smartphone which eliminated pretty much all of the things. So hence a product so good that it solves multiple of problems. We also call it a curbstone solution, but basically thinking of solutions to problems that users themselves don't realize they have. So how do you do that? You empathize with them. You really look at what the situation of that user there is, and then come up with a possible solution. I know some people did it before iPhone, but for as a bigger brand and as a bigger recognized product, I've put the photo there. Okay. Then last thing we move on to is the test phase. uh, what India has done, especially during lockdown, is invent or introduce the concept of UPI. Okay. Things were bad, things were super bad. People had to stand in lines because of demonetization. They had to look into ATMs. They went into ATMs and they saw no money there, though no cash there. It was chaotic. Like at least the first month of demonetization, it was absolute chaos. But somebody came up with a solution that, hey, there are QR codes. Everybody has smartphones. Why not digitize the payments, right? And initially, in the first few days or first few months of UPI being introduced, people were hesitant against it. People came up with problems that somebody's faking UPI transactions, I'm not getting money. Somebody's putting their own QR code on somebody else's QR code and getting the money. All of those problems came up, and slowly, with iterations, with looking at how things can be managed better, they introduced better versions of UPI, more secure ways of payment, and that is how a prototype tested, implemented, and launched worldwide, no, at least countrywide. So that is what a good system comes up through the test phase of innovation and design thinking. Any questions? Any comments so far?
Yeah, Sukraat sir, just like you to know that this session, it's very popular among all the students in the BS community.
Okay.
Not just data science students, but even including me, the students in the new electronic systems degree have also joined in this session. So our PR team has posted it in all the groups, and everyone was excited to join this. And there is a question from one of the electronic system students, Venkata Subhash. He says that I would like to ask how trade-offs are decided, and is there any specific procedure to determine what to trade off?
Trade-off meaning, explain what trade-off you mean.
Venkata, would you like to unmute yourself and go ahead?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I had come across this trade-offs concept from some of our lectures, and
Okay.
what I know about trade-offs was when there are two, for example, two good features we want to include, but only one is possible. We would just, eliminate one of those. We just ignore one of those.
Okay.
That is known as a trade-off.
Okay, so you have two things to pick, but you have place for one. So what do you ditch?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think ideally, in an ideal situation, we would want a product which would incorporate both those things. Okay. Both the features. But if there is a possibility of including only one, then I would suggest to go with something that is of a better utility. Although it's a very rare case, because once you're developing a product, you have the entire freedom to do whatever to it. There is no specific limitation on an app's weight, or an app's how many MBs or GBs it has to be. If you're the developer, you have the flexibility of including that. If the product is something that is going absolutely against the the other option, then is something then is the situation where you probably do a comparative analysis of what is better, how it is affecting the app, what is the utility it is serving, things like that. So yeah, it really depends on case to case. I'm not really sure. If you can give me an example, I'll probably help you with the further solution, but this is what I have in my head right now.
To be more precise, that a trade-off means that when, for example, we are including one thing, there will be both the positives and negatives. Like
Okay, right.
we have to ignore those negatives. Those are known as trade-offs.
How to ignore those negatives?
For example,
It's not ideal to ignore negatives. It's ideal to eliminate those negatives because you don't want a negative experience to be felt by your user. So that is something that you might want to look into. Uh, you have to eliminate, whatever the unpleasant experience that the user might have. Now, say for example, let's talk about UPI. Okay, I go to a shop or I take an auto and I promise him that I will GPay you, but in the end what happens is he takes out his phone and his network server is down. Okay, and I'm standing there inside, and in a very random location, trying to get cash from somebody, or trying to get him to give me somebody else's number whose bank is okay so I can transfer money, all of that shimsham. So that is a negative aspect of a problem that you need to really think about and think against of. They did come up with such a solution, but that was from the sender's point of view, where sender doesn't really need to approach a bank in the first place. We'll give you a wallet where you have specific amount of money and you can send it to somebody else without even bothering your bank at that specific moment. So in case your bank network is down or your server is down, you can send money to the other person. The solution for which from the other side hasn't come yet, where the receiver's bank is down, so you can send him money irrespective. So that is a problem that has still been not been addressed. So there's a thing of that. UPI can be used offline now. How? Please tell me. No, but if the bank server itself is not accepting money, then how is it working? I'm not sure. Let me know. Please write to me. I'm very short on time. This was about EAST. Any other comment? Any other question?
Yeah,
100%
there are just
sure.
two more questions from two people. The first
Yeah.
one is Peace. I want to know why the headphone jack are getting missing. He basically wants to know the headphone jack is missing from newer phones and technology.
Okay, so headphones themselves came with a lot of problems. Direct human centric answer to it. When you put a headphone in your pocket, it became jumbled. One big problem. Second big problem was either of the ears went bad because the wiring went a little loose. Third thing is that the jack itself, the 3.5 jack, uh, used not gold, copper conductors, which upon inserting and ejecting again and again got very what is that word called? They faced a lot of wear out. So the conduction of music or electric waves was a big problem in the longer run. So using earphones or keeping that earphone jack was a big problem in the newer phones. Also, including that entire thing or as a concept or as a technology in new phones was not financially viable. I, as a user, miss earphone jacks because it was just too easy, no Bluetooth, no nothing, just plug it in and use it. But every 3-4 months, I had that issue, irrespective of how expensive my earphone was. That it either the jack went missing or it was doing cut 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 cut, or there was one ear going bad, something happening. But once you start using Bluetooth earphones, all you need to do is charge them once a week, and that's it, and maybe charge them for 2-3 hours, and you're good to go for the rest of the week. So that is why probably the jack is getting replaced. There are still devices which have the capacity of earphones, sorry, jacks, but they are more advanced uh, when related to the use of it. So there's that, like an amplifier will have it, a good guitar will have it, some good music mixing thing will have it, and they'll have the bigger jack also, the one that gets into the amp. So is it a bad use of design thinking or good? It is a really good use of design thinking, definitely is. uh, Thanks, Adarsh, for the ad. People use 3-4 years. Okay, I'll look into it, Adarsh. Thanks. Okay, moving ahead, is the scopes of DT. Yeah. I'll just put everything here in one go. So, what else does design thinking come into work with? There is product development. What I've put here, a lot of people might know, might not know. It's a very famous brand called the Dyson vacuum. So, they realized what exactly was required out of a vacuum. How is it going to help you better? How is it going to perform better as against other cleaning devices, things like that. So it does wet cleaning, it does dry cleaning, it does carpet cleaning, pet cleaning, a million other things within one single device. So it's like a one-stop shop for all cleaning products. Second was the financial services, where we talked about people have problems, transacting money. So the UPI bit came in, so many different other apps came in. There are banking apps which have eliminated the entire point of users going to the bank itself. So if you witnessed your grandparents or parents go to a bank every month to get the passbook updated, to get some checkbook done, to get some service from the bank, all of that eliminated right on your phone. Okay, it's everything is possible through your phone now. Followed by UI UX. Now everything that we do or see on the phone is a product of design thinking and UI UX. How does it help? There are a million ways that UI UX and design thinking and empathy and user understanding affect the way we operate on the phone. If there is a big apply thing on the screen, we'll press on that. Or if there is a specific product that we have to look at, or if there is a specific thing on the screen that you need your user to focus more on, you change things like that. If you want the user to feel good, then there is the entire gamification, there is the entire approval screens that you make, where like the payment is done, your product is being shipped, you will get this product at this point. Swiggy, if you see the outline of Swiggy when you order from the app Swiggy, you will see that the guy has reached the restaurant. He's on this way, coming back. So they have integrated all of that after understanding the anxiousness of the user. Where is my food? What is happening to my food? Is the guy lost? Something like that. So that is where the entire concept of tracking the scooter, the delivery boy, also came in. Earlier Swiggy introduced it, then Zomato, then Blinkit, then every other company did it. So that is where the user interface and user experience blends with design thinking and comes out as a product. Tourism, if you look at the photo. So there is a place called Lego World. This photo that I've put as is the Disney World in, I think, Russia right now. Yeah, that is I don't think this is the Russia one, this is the US one.
I guess this one is from Paris.
This one's for Paris. I'm not sure. I've not been to any Disneyland as such, but yeah, one of those places. So what have they done is there are kids. Kids get fascinated, and they have to promote that. So then they make everything that themed, okay, which is promoting tourism to that specific place. It's not just Disneyland or any other fancy land. It's happening with all sorts of tourism places where they are actually understanding what is this user coming for. Now, while watching IPL or while watching World Cup, you might have seen that there were a lot of Dubai ads. So they're also in the marketing bit. They applied some sense that if a person is coming to an entirely different country, they want to experience everything, right? Now, if an Indian goes to US to Dubai, then of course there are mountains, there are beaches, there are plateaus, there is greenery, there is desert everywhere, but it's pretty scattered. Okay, but if you look at the size of UAE, or you look at the size of Dubai, then it's all compact in one place, maybe a day's travel at best, right? So that is what they introduced, that is what they thought of as the end user requirement, and that is what they're going to promote in the ads, to tell them that this is something that we're going to use, that this is something that we're going to provide to you, and this is the exact reason why you should come, because we have basically everything. You just come. Okay, so that is how design thinking is being applied in tourism also. Now the last bit is our favorite bit, everybody is a part of it for some reason, is the IIT Madras PS degree. What is the empathy that we have applied here? There is there are people who are in remote locations. All of us are joining in from remote locations, but we still want an IT tag. We still want the education on data science and programming, and in some cases, ES here in this call. So, how do we enable that? We make an online program for everybody to be accessible, and make it accessible to everybody. So, that is where education bit is coming in. A lot of other examples also, and political design. I'm not going to comment on this. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Next up, yeah, I told you about marketing. Here, marketing, of course, there is Dove, which is using users as themselves to show that there are different variants of human skin, and how Dove as a product helps out. Automobiles, there of course is Tesla, helping everybody out. There are designs that are coming into places. If you see this button, people used to lose keys or get keys stolen, or somebody else used to just jack their car. uh, how do they contradict that? They come up with a fingerprint and analysis, and if you touch your thumb, that is when the car starts. So there is no point of keeping track of your wallet, keeping track of your key, all of that. So things like that are also a result of design thinking. Artificial intelligence being my absolute favorite in this list. um, so one anecdote I would like to give you. When I was in college not too many years ago, we did not have the concept of chat gpt. Okay. And this is, I think, 2020. We're talking about 2020. We had no chat gpt. We had Google. Google was good enough for us. Google was god for us. But 2 years later, I see chat gpt is coming, and it is basically doing all of my work. Okay, anything that I need to know, it's there. So similar to iPhone, what chat gpt has done is it's made me realize that this is something that I actually needed, without me having described it as a problem to myself. Right. I Till the time I saw that a chat box is giving me an entire presentation's content, I was googling different bits and pieces, going to different websites, sorting stuff out, eliminating things. It's basically created a need. Yes, exactly, Lavanya. So that is something that as technologists, as developers, people came together. People realized that this is something that is a problem that needs a solution, and they came up with AI and Gen AI, basically. So, as I've been told to use more of AI in this bit, so there are more AI related things here. So, Spotify is using user data to give you playlist. Netflix is really understanding your watching patterns and then suggesting you more things to watch. AI idea powered ideation is something that is also happening, because something that we just did in the Ed Sheeran example, right? Give me a list of problems that Ed Sheeran might have. So what AI did was just ideated it for me, gave me an entire list, and I didn't have to really think. Predictive healthcare, I've put an Apple Watch here because I have a really good example in my head. Is that somebody, some 36-year-old guy was wearing an Apple Watch, and Apple told him that there's something wrong with your heart, because that is not your general heartbeat that is going on. So that is another place where predictive AI is coming into place, and helping people save lives. And then automobile advancement, there is an entire constant flow going to the car's CPU to make them understand what next step should you drive at, how you should drive, things like that. So there is a lot of predictive AI. There is a lot of data related empathy that is going on within the cars themselves, and giving you an immediate outcome or solution while you drive. So yeah, mathematics supernova says, and I'll say it again, DT can be applied in pretty much all fields. What you need to do is sit down, understand what the problem is, empathize with the solution, empathize with the customer, and you can do your thing then. Look up more into design thinking. There is a lot more to it. This is what I've done so far in the past hour, is to introduce you to the concept of DT, and how you can possibly apply it or how you can approach it. There is an acronym that I would like to, a mnemonic that I would like to give to you, that is EAST, EAST. Empathize, analyze, solve, test, understand, drill down on the problem, create solutions, test those solutions. So EAST, that is what design thinking is. Okay, so that was it, I think, from me. Okay, the future of AI, of course, there is a lot that you can do. I think I've covered a lot of it already, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That is my time. That is my session. Okay. For the people who wanted to connect with me, my name is Sukraat Dang on LinkedIn. And if you want to give me a job, that is sukraatdang@gmail.com. Or if you want to get stuff done out of me, then you write to me on sukrat@study.itm. Okay. So these are the three places where you can connect with me. If you have any other questions, comments, doubts, please ask right away. Okay.
Sir, how do
Yeah,
you
sir.
make
Yeah, sir.
interactive PPTs?
Too much echo. What?
Yeah, there's a doubt from Suponova again.
Hmm.
If the problem is an urgent emergency and the solution is not instant and quick, how
Yeah.
has the humanity? How can we deal with it, basically?
If the problem is urgent and let me read it. Can I read it somewhere?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's in the
Q1. Got it. Got
activities
it. Got
tab.
it. Got
Q&A.
it. Got it.
Yeah.
I want to know, if the problem is an urgent emergency and the solution is not an instant and quick, how as the humanity we can deal with? Uh, say Corona in this example. If you're bringing in the entire humanity, I would say Corona as an example here. So it was an emergency. We shut down everything, and we understood what the problem was. Of course, it took a lot of time, but to deal with such situations, we don't bring up a solution right away. We implement things that will stop the spread of the problem, or we try to counter the problem, and then in the meantime we buy time and we work on that solution. Similar, like I'll continue with the Corona example. What happened exactly? We realized that it is a problem. We declared it as an emergency, a global emergency, stopped people from traveling everywhere, and then a lot of teams, a lot of movies also made based on that now. They sat down, they understood what the problem is, they did a lot of iterations to human testing, things like that, and then released the vaccine. So when there is no time, you buy time, basically that. What is your POV on will AI took all the jobs? No, I don't think AI will take all the jobs. Somebody has to write something. As per reports, Batman is watching the session. Why, Utkarsh? Uh, what is going on in the comments, man? Okay.
Everyone's just
Sir, how do you
entering
make such
questions.
PPTs? Please
How do I
explain.
make such PPTs? I have experience, man. I've been making PPTs for the past 4 years now, so it comes.
Not gonna lie, sir, but this PPT was so appealing to us.
Yes.
So, I mean,
So I
this is
can
a
read that. So
template
I
that I've
can.
used from a site that I can give you. It's called Slides Go. You can search that up and you'll have other things. By applying DT in the pandemic, the central government encouraged people by Doordarshan programs, eliminating panic, delivered speeches, etc. Correct, yeah. Where can we find recording of the session? I'm not sure. Gravity and Apple is coming. Slidesgo.com. Yeah, sorted. So, guys, I'll see you. If there is anything, please write to me. If you want to ask anything right now, you may. And if not, I can say bye bye. So,
Thank you, sir, a lot.
Thank you, sir, for this
Yeah.
amazing session. And you just opened my eyes. Like I can use this thing in hackathons and everything.
pretty much it, yes. You can.
Yes.
All right. So, thank you, Aditya, and one other person, Arnold,
Yes,
for
sir.
organizing it.
I'd just like to add one thing, if you
Yeah.
don't mind. I've been throughout the session, I've been thinking about the things that you told about, design thinking and how the designs evolve from repeated uses. So I would also like to show you something that I designed myself.
Okay.
It is based on something that I see that was a problem to me, as in, and I designed this thing. It's a wallet, basically.
Let me pin your
Yeah.
thing. Well,
So
it's
this is a
AR
wallet.
Aditya Rao. Okay.
Yeah, it's a wallet
Okay.
that I designed so that I can just flick it open with my hand, just one of my hands, and all of my credit cards and cards can just pop out. So I'll have easy access to everything. So
Nice.
this really saves time, as in if I'm getting off a bus or a cab, I don't have to shuffle through my wallet, opening and finding all my cards. I can just
Understood.
take it open, take it out, and just tap it anywhere on the go.
Did you have a lot of different iterations to it while making it, or what
Yes,
products
I
are
have.
you using for it?
I've had multiple iterations throughout. My
Okay.
table is just filled with that.
Okay.
So this is actually 3D printed. I'm a 3D designer myself, and I 3D printed it at home. So the thing that I went through is, see, I needed it to be slim so that it fits in my pocket, and the main purpose was to save time. So yeah, basically that's all.
Okay. That's pretty cool, man. If you want to share this thing as, I mean, I understand that this is already a product. I think some company is giving, I think it's a flick of a thing and all of the cards come up vertically, but they don't pop out, is what I've seen.
Yeah, there are multiple variants of this product. I mean, many companies are doing it as an attachment for your phone so that the cards are accessible from the back of your phone.
Yeah.
So this is really something I look for.
Okay, cool. I mean, I'd like to see more. I mean, the way you've made it. If you want any help with it, let me know.
Yes, sir, definitely, sir.
Really nice. I mean, honestly, I'm very fascinated by 3D printing. I want a 3D printer for myself also, but it's a big undertaking, so I'm giving it some time. Yeah. Anyway, cool. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys. Also,
thank
I
you,
had one
sir.
question. Is
Yes,
this
sir.
the thing behind you? Is it a spy hawk? What is it?
It's a Sky Surfer, sir.
Sky surfer. Okay.
So I just fly it on the weekends when I get some free time.
Nice. Cool. Anyway, see you guys. I will see you if you text me or send a connection request, or if you want to write to me, just give me some context because I get a lot of mails. Okay. Anyway, see you guys. Thank you so much for bearing through me and
Thank you, sir.
to disgust you guys with ketchup, but that's my style. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for the entire audience.
Sir, hoping to meet you in Paradox.
I might not be there, but I'll see you. Sure.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.